Good morning. I am Mr. Ropes. Who are you?
Well, good morning, Mr. Ropes. I'm Rhonda. I work at Carver Memorial Library of Searsport, Maine.
I love libraries. What do you do there?
Well, I'm actually a library assistant. I work mostly with young people and I do outreach such as visiting a local assisted living facility, and I do story times. I love music and I love time at the circulation desk helping people get books and videos and other things.
That's so cool. I'm in the middle of reading a book right now.
That looks interesting.
Well, it's a collection of newspaper articles written by Captain E.P. Nichols between 1878 and 1891. He actually had a printing press on board his bark Clara and ship Frank Pendleton. He was from Searsport.
Wow, that is really interesting. I love that you're reading about the experiences of Searsport people. Did you know that Carver Memorial Library has a special Searsport reading challenge where if you read 5 books and complete 5 activities that relate to Searsport, you can earn a badge? I'll show you the badge, Mr. Ropes. Here's what the badge looks like.
That sounds like a great way to learn more about Searsport history. Are
It
there any
is.
other badges?
Yes, there's a main badge too. Oh, actually, you know what, Mr. Ropes? This is the main history badge. And this is the Searsport badge. I grabbed the wrong one. Isn't that beautiful?
It has a ship on it.
Yes, yes, it does. You can check out our website for more information about those badges. For instance, here's the main history challenge information. So you can look at it on our website or you can come to our library. And here is the Searsport History Challenge one.
Cool. I love reading about Searsport and Maine history. I bet I could earn those badges easily. You know, I went to sea with a Searsport captain and sailed all over the world.
That is really interesting. I've heard a little bit about that. It's fascinating to hear about the experiences of Searsport people who went to sea.
Since it's almost Halloween, I've been reflecting on some of the spookier things at sea, like what you see at night.
I would love to hear more about that.
Well, I put together a shadow puppet show. I used some of my own words describing a beautiful moonlit night at sea, and then I took 3 stories from Captain E.P. Nichols' Ocean Chronicle. First, he talked about the 1882 comet, which was perhaps the brightest ever seen. And then he saw it. Next, I will share his story about phosphorescence, typically algae that make the ocean appear to glow. And then my puppet show ends with a look at St. Elmo's fire. Here it is. One has to experience the rough and heavy weather we had last week to appreciate the wonderful beauties of a night like this at sea. The moon as clear as you can imagine, each star seems to try and outdo its neighbor in brilliancy, a fresh warm wind filling every inch of canvas. The glorious silver pathway made by the moon running and sparkling from the horizon to the phosphorus wake of the ship, together with the easy roll, makes a sight and sensation not easily forgotten. The comet, now visible in the eastern sky at early morn, was first observed by us on the morning of September 14th in about 52 degrees south, at which time we did not know what it was, a part of the tail only being visible above a bank near the horizon, and having the appearance of a part of a rainbow. and it was thought nothing of until it was seen again on the following morning in the same place. It was not seen again until the 19th in latitude 40, when it was all in sight bearing about north. Unlike other comets which we have seen, the end of the tail is as bright as any part of it and right square across as if cut off, but it might look differently on a dark night. In latitude 7 north, on a dark night, the surface of the water was illuminated by millions of lights which shone forth as if just below the surface of the water, enough to deaden the bright glare, and the movement of the waves served to illustrate refraction and reflection at all angles, producing a most beautiful and really wonderful phenomenon. The whole ocean appeared to be lighted from below. Seeing these lights in the water, a scoop net attached to a pole was taken and several fine specimens were soon in on deck. Those were from 1 to 6 inches in length and from 1/2 to 3/4 inch in diameter and hollow, being closed at one end with only a small aperture at the other, apparently full of water. They were semi-transparent and of about the same consistency as a jellyfish, or a little more tenacious. Another phenomenon which is witnessed at sea is the composant, or St. Elmo's fire, which shows itself on very dark nights in thunderstorms. The appearance of this light is as if a star was shining brightly, and the first thought is that the cloud has suddenly broken. On this passage, while in the Pacific, we had a most beautiful display of this wonderful light, not only one but many. These looked like 5 bright stars, invisible about 5 minutes, seemingly growing brighter when a sharp flash of lightning came, and they instantly disappeared. This phenomenon is more rare than the phosphorescence of the water, as we have not seen the Elmo's fire but 7 times in 28 years of sea life. Meow. Meow.
That was really interesting. I've never seen phosphorescence, even though I've lived on the coast of Maine. My entire life, I've never seen phosphorescence or St. Elmo's fire, but have you ever seen a full moon on the bay on a still night?
Yes, that can be almost as beautiful as a night at sea.
Your puppet show, Mr. Ropes, reminds me of the poem Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod by Eugene Field. It's one of my favorite poems. It was first published in 1889. Captain E.P. Nichols might have read it to his daughters, Nancy, Maud, and Grace, on board the ship Frank Pendleton. Would you like me to share it with you?
That
All
sounds
right.
fascinating. Yes, please.
Okay. Here's Winkin', and as you listen to it, you'll hear at the end the word trundle bed, and a lot of people don't know, or children don't know necessarily, what a trundle bed is. A bed that used to fit underneath another bed. So, for instance, the parents would sleep up in the big bed, and they'd pull the trundle bed out from under the big bed at night for the child to sleep on. So here's Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod. Winkin' and Blinkin' and Nod one night sailed off in a wooden shoe, sailed on a river of crystal light into a sea of dew. Where are you going? And what do you wish? The old moon asked the three. We have come to fish for the herring fish that live in this beautiful sea. Nets of silver and gold have we, said Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod. The old moon laughed and sang a song as they rocked in the wooden shoe, and the wind that sped them all night long ruffled the waves of dew. The little stars were the herring fish that lived in the beautiful sea. Now cast your nets wherever you wish, never feared are we. So cried the stars to the fishermen three, winkin', blinkin', and nod. All night long their nets they threw to the stars in the twinkling foam, then down the skies as if it could not be. And some folks thought it 'twas a dream they had dreamed of sailing that beautiful sea. But I shall name you the fishermen three, Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod. Winkin' and Blinkin' are two little eyes, and Nod is a little head. And eyes, while mother sings of wonderful sights that be. And you shall see the beautiful things as you rock in the misty sea, where the old shoe rocked the fishermen three, Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod, by Eugene Field.
I really enjoyed that. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. There's a song that goes with that.
I didn't quite hear that, Rhonda. Can you repeat it?
Oh, sure. Sorry about that. I said that that is also a song. So you might want to look for it as a song too.
Yeah, sounds great. Do you have any other stories or books that you recommend that go along with today's theme?
I do. I chose three. It was hard for me to choose. There are lots of children's books about ships and stars and things, but I chose three. The first one I'm going to share with you is Sirius the Dog Star. And do you like dogs, Mr. Ropes? Well, this is by Angelique Perot, and she lives right here in Maine. And this dog is a Newfoundland. Newfoundland dogs used to go on ships a lot, and his name is Sirius, as in Sirius the Star. And it's a really interesting book because it's about how Sirius helped save an entire shipload of people in 1897. And I'm going to show you just one illustration from the book because it reminds me of today's theme. It shows Sirius looking at the dog star, and Sirius is enjoying being on the ship. So that's one. Another one is by the main author and illustrator, Robert McCloskey. It's Time of Wonder. And this book won the Caldecott Medal. And I'll just show you my favorite star illustration in this book. Can you see it, Mr. Ropes?
Yes, very cool.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on Penobscot Bay in the middle of the summer on a starry night. And then the last one I'll share is by Chris Van Allsburg, and it's called The Wreck of the Zephyr. And it's a book about a magical set of sails that allowed a boy to sail his ship up into the sky, not in the ocean. So The Wreck of the Zephyr by Chris Van Allsburg. And I'll show you two illustrations from this one. Here he is just starting to take off into the starry sky with his ship. You can see it's leaving the ocean. And then on the next page, there's one more where the ship is sailing above the clouds. I know the light's shining on those a little bit, but the nice thing is these are library books. So if you want to see them better, you can come to the library and borrow them.
Sounds great. Thanks for sharing those. And thank you, Rhonda, for joining us today for our final puppet show. And thank you to all of you who tuned in on Facebook or YouTube. It is so much fun to bring these stories of Searsport and Maine history to life with my puppets, and I love to share them with you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Mr. Ropes.